It was September 30th, 12:54 in the afternoon.
First day sickest was right after davening.
Because I was still sitting in my sukkah having lunch with my family when our tones came in.
Call came out for a situation in the Suzanne Lake.
I got a phone call actually from Atsula.
RH base, activate Chavayram.
A Pediatric call came out on the radio for a child drowning.
The first member got here after about a minute.
Was walking in the shortcut right next to the Suzanne Lake.
I was the first responder here on scene. I met the group of boys that were playing with him.
The kid was davening in this shul there. The children, which were two brothers, were playing.
The ball goes bouncing down.
He ran after the ball. They tried catching it.
He fell right into...
This is where it gets much deeper, and he just slipped under.
Be advised, the child's brother watched him fall into the water and he did not re-submerge.
Toll is reporting a child in the water. We're also advising the fire department.
He was asking for my son to help him out, but he can do nothing.
But his older brother goes all the way running back, all the way to the shul, and gets his father.
While getting there, he was already in the water. I didn't know what to do.
There was a lot of confusion. They thought, meanwhile, the kid came out of the water.
The child is no longer visible. Unknown last point of contact.
We saw a little kashketel
that was floating in the water.
His father sees his son's little yomtov hat, but we can't find him.
I right away radioed them saying that I have a confirmed child in the water.
Copy 3, no visual on anybody in the water.
341, be advised, there is no visual on the child in the water. Just a hat,
I right away responded to the call as a paramedic.
I threw off my shtreimel, my bekisha, my talus.
Get me all resources. I need diving team and whoever could get this boy out.
I right away dispatched more units, the resources we need from the search and rescue team and all our equipment that we have and the boat.
Department 7, 18 dive, 26 dive, signal 20, water rescue, 12, Vincent Road. Hotel is requesting FD.
341, do we have an ETA on FD?
As soon as the boat got here, we jumped in and the members went into the water.
Just drop everything. They start showing grids where to go, and I started on into the water.
I ran back to my car to get this orange rope as you see over here, and we entered the lake.
There was a bystander that davens with me in Shield. His name is Yidel Badansky.
I was walking home from shul. I saw some commotion right here.
At that time, all the other members arrived already. Two of the other members jumped into the water and started fishing for him.
There were a lot of search and rescue volunteers working on it from many different angles.
We got 2 or 3 guys in the water right away to assist those who are already in the water with their search.
What I remember seeing is a lot of people in the water just searching vigorously for this child.
But we were after a tremendous amount of rain for about a week, and the water was much higher.
There's a huge lake on the other side of this. So the water was overflowing and coming down in here. So going into that running water was no joke, it was scary.
The water was very cold.
They might suffer from hyperthermia.
I didn't want to have another rescue.
In his sense of his eyes, he was telling me, we need everyone's help.
He took off his bekisha, his tzitzis.
I told this guy, Yankiv Yosef, keep an eye on me.
The guys that jumped in really risked their lives, no question about it. I mean, the water was freezing. The water's probably 40 degrees.
I had to come out. I couldn't breathe. I caught my breath and I went back.
That morning, you couldn't see your finger. It was such heavy rain, all the silt and the soot and the murk.
So the chance of finding this kid and revive him was only through a miracle.
In our book, a brain without oxygen doesn't have a chance after 6 to 8 minutes.
Anytime you have a severe injury with lack of oxygen to the brain for prolonged periods of time, you have significant brain death.
When you're in that mode, we never give up.
And I started doing these dips again.
He told the guy next to him, who was a chaver member, he says, I think I feel something, make sure I come up.
I bent down and I grabbed it, and it was a hand. I was holding the child right here, and I felt the fabric, and I actually felt I'm holding a human being. Shouted, we have him, we got him.
We got the child. CPR in progress.
We all helped get him out of the water. Obviously, it didn't look like he's alive.
They took him out. I was sure that it's finished.
Didn't have his color anymore.
And he was lumped over.
Just the way that he looked when they pulled him out of the water and the trauma to his body, I really didn't think it was going to be a good outcome.
It looked like he possibly passed away at that point.
Detective Yamin will be responding to the scene. Also give BCI, if not already.
I thought to myself it was very unlikely that he would ever wake up again.
They thought right away that it's over, but we didn't give up.
341, CPR in progress.
We laid him down right on the ground. We started CPR.
We get him onto the stretcher, and I happen to be at his head, and I'm clearing his mouth and nose. He's vomiting.
Paramedic official Litzman, he's a professional pediatric. I started handing him all the equipment he needed to intubate the patient. It's called a cardiac arrest bag.
In this case, we used 2 of the epinephrines for this patient, and this is what brought back a pulse and a blood pressure. The second medic started the interosseous, which is a line that goes into the bone.
When we started working up the child, we didn't believe for a second that we would actually revive him.
Ambulance crew, including me, did not give up for 1 second. We continued very, very effective CPR.
For this specific child, we actually used this size tube, which is a 5.0, and this is what kept them alive.
Calling 4-1, they're transporting now. Hospital at a good Sam.
We got back a pulse which was less than 7 minutes from when he came onto the ambulance. This all happened en route to Good Samaritan Hospital, because when a patient is in cardiac arrest, we have to go to the closest hospital.
The whole team of doctors were waiting for us in Good Sam.
And they right away started working up the patient, and they did an excellent job over there. The doctors, the nurses.
When he came in, he was definitely cold, and his color was off. Getting him hooked up to all the equipment and getting it done quickly was impertinent.
He did have a pulse, but had a very, very poor prognosis. But there were a lot of metabolic derangements that really were not going in this child's favor.
The blood work came back that was not compatible with life.
We certainly did our very best to resuscitate him with all the appropriate things that we do.
It was a kind of a rough ride for the next 40 minutes. He went in and out of cardiac arrest.
While he was in this very resuscitation bay here, and he did need more advanced life support.
But essentially they stabilized him in critical but stable condition.
We really didn't believe that this child would make it or have any function. His pupils were constricted, they weren't reactive.
So when I went to the hospital and found out the child was still alive, it was a miracle.
Starting to see his oxygenation come back, godsend, and it was such a blessing.
I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
Ultimately, the decision was made to get this child to a higher level of care.
I can't say enough about Dr. Garber, who was completely on board with stabilizing him and getting him transferred as soon as possible.
Thank you for calling the WMC Health Transfer Center.
It's Gary Tatz from the PICU. I just got a call about Sofer, the drowning from Good Sam.
Approximately 45 minutes downtime. Ross, when he got here after 4 rounds of epi per EMS, he did code again. We did get Ross back, I believe, 2 doses of epi. Pupils dilated, fixed, not retracting to pain, but not posturing either. The CBC was within normal limits, no anemia, no platelets were fine. Hatsola has a critical care bus fully ready to go in about 5 minutes, they said.
What I would say for now is I would push about 6 per kilo of bicarb, generous amount, but it'll probably keep him from arresting en route. And I would get him loaded up into me as quickly as possible.
We transferred him later that afternoon to Westchester Medical Center, where he was put directly to the pediatric ICU.
Obviously the patient was intubated on a respirator and sedated.
And so we made sure that he had adequate IV access. We made sure that we gave him the right medicines to get his heart beating a little stronger, and obviously started to do things to protect his brain from further injury. When he came to us, his pupils weren't reactive.
There's no way that this kid is going to live, and no way that this kid is going to live with any brain function. It's just naturally impossible.
Dr. Tatz went in right away and did his initial evaluation. That's when we got the shock of our life. He runs out of the room after a few minutes. He says, "I see complete brain activity."
His pupils started to react to light, and that he started to eventually become more wakeful when we allowed him to.
Setting, and then he was brought to Children's Specialized Hospital in New Jersey for 75 days for inpatient rehab.
It's amazing after all that time and all the unknown that this turned out to be a rescue, not a recovery, and that Luz is alive.
Looking from where he was in the beginning, unresponsive, in a lake, no pulse.
So seeing that he can communicate or experience joy, that's a surprising outcome to me.
He doesn't have any oxygen requirements. He's alert, he communicates. It's a miracle how far he's come.
We transferred him with Vital One to hyperbaric specialized treatment in Florida to try to enhance his brain function.
They're taking him to a different type of rehab.
There's a world-class facility and a doctor in South Florida that we're transporting him to, which will increase the oxygenation of his brain.
Have him regain his full brain activity.
We continue hope for miracles that he's going to be normal again.
It's not easy to go there, but we have to do whatever we have to do.
We at Vital One bring the ICU to you. Everything that there is in an ICU, we have in this jet. Although in this particular case, the patient was just on a feeding tube, we still have everything with us, just in case. Our pilots will get direct clearance to descend to the desired altitude that's good for the patient, because the patient is the priority. Coach Food, how the appetite?
It's a great operation. They care quite a bit about the community and the patients they fly. Yankee certainly is a great care provider who's able to take the best care possible. It's nice to be able to help bring a family member along with a child. That tells you what the Vital One community are willing to do to make sure a child lives.
Whenever you deal with a situation with lack of oxygen to the brain, that becomes a very complex type of scenario with regard to recovery. That's one of the most significant types of injuries where he was underwater.
And I have with me this machine to measure how long the brother from the boy ran, 1,330 feet each way to call his father and then back, which takes approximately 7 to 8 minutes.
I believe the child was possibly underwater for well over 10 minutes at that point, and they still hadn't located the child.
After the fact, we checked the monitors and the time the call was received, etc. We confirmed it to be underwater for approximately 35 minutes.
The 99.9% of cases have a very poor neurological outcome.
A lot of other people or agencies would not even attempt to resuscitate such a child who's under the water for more than 30 minutes.
In fact, there was a recent study done by University of Washington where greater than 25 minutes, not a single child survived.
Once we were able to review the medical records, we then did specialized kinds of electrical brain mapping so that we're able to utilize a number of techniques to reboot, reorganize, and reestablish electrical connections.
Really can't say enough about the miracles that took place and the way everything fell into place for this to happen.
The entire story here is a miracle.
I came to the hospital recently and I bumped into the initial doctor. I showed him a video of the child and his response was he just started crying. I never saw this before from an emergency room doctor to start crying, and he pointed upwards and said this is something that only God could have done.
When we look at the medical prognosis compared to what actually happened in this case, we're very grateful that there was such a good outcome, and it really was a miracle.
Now he's more interactive, he's smiling, he's engaged. It shows that perceptually he's processing sound, processing visual information, and basically is more in tune. Clinically he's doing much better than what we would normally predict.
This kid proved to everybody that it could happen whether nature allows it or not. Nothing else to say, but it's a true miracle.
My name is Rosanna Rosie Cordero Stutz. I'm Assistant Director of the Miami-Dade Police Department. Today is very important for us to be here because there's a little boy named Ellie. He had an accident where he fell into a lake and he drowned. Part of his journey is his love for police and for fire, and today we celebrate his 8th birthday here in South Florida. Miracles happen every day in the world, but it's up to us as human beings to recognize miracles.
Seeing the joy, the smile on his face is something that I think we're all moved by. And thanks to the Miami-Dade Police Department, the Air Rescue, and Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, to be able to show him around and just to see the smile on his face. And this young boy, Ellie, on his birthday, is out here speaking to all these people and emotionally displaying how he feels, showing his gratitude for everything that was done for him. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. And if this is not a testament of itself that we should never give up, then I don't know what is, but this surely should be a wake-up call for everyone, that after being on the water for 30+ minutes, that look, God runs the world, and we're just the messengers, and our job is to keep trying and not give up.
Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Happy birthday! A freiliche Geburtstag, Eluse, Zidi. Yay!
This is something that Rabbi Rosenberg brought up to us a couple of weeks ago. He told me about the young boy. His dream was to go out on the boat and see the helicopter, do all these things, and we're happy to support that. So right now we're putting the boy on the boat. Rabbi Mark Rosenberg is actually getting on the police helicopter, and they're taking off to fly over here right now.
Ellie's having a blast of a time and everything pays off. It's worth to come all the way from New York, and now Ellie will arrive in the chariot, and we're having a big concert coming up with the boys, and I'm so looking forward for a great rest of the day. And the best part of everything is that I can come here, I can sing for him and cheer him up and bring out the best of him and the best of us. Thank you, Hashem, for everything that you did, for all the miracles. And that's a little pediatric miracle of the century.
Thanks to all first responders for saving my son's life. I want to thank for Vital One for sending my son to Florida. I would never think that they will do it for free. Every detail was amazing. Thank you again. Thank you.
I'm coming home להורים ואחים.
His progress is amazing. I work almost for 13 years in physical therapy. It's really amazing how strong he is. Every week, I can see how he grows. He's laughing, he's actually eating. He's drinking. Water to drink it's very difficult to give him because he feels he can't breathe. So then we give him something that's more thick. It's amazing how he progresses. His progress is amazing. He can sit without support. He's almost standing. It's mamash a miracle.